The Shador show continues. The show goes on. This is like week 5 in a row of talking about Colorado. We have to keep talking about them if they keep playing like this. That game was one of the most electric games I've ever watched in college football.
Game of the year so far.
Yeah, that was the game of the year. They had a Hail Mary to tie the game with the second to last play.
I mean, Shador hit him in the face.
Yeah, he just dropped a wide open pass. And then the next one rolls out Hail Mary. Somehow the guy's unguarded and just dived for it. It was one of those like Hollywood scripted endings. Yeah. And then they go into overtime, and Travis Hunter makes the play of the game, causing a fumble on the goal line.
That was incredible.
Back-to-back weeks, he makes a defensive play to win the game. Yep. Last week was interception. This week is a fumble. Shador, 25 of 41, 341 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks, and 1 rushing touchdown. So 3 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. Travis Hunter, 7 receptions, 130 yards. He's had 100 yards receiving 5 consecutive games now. I mean, and the game-winning fumble recovery or fumble forced in overtime on defense. So opening it back up, Colorado, more wins than a lot of people thought they'd have at this point. 3-1. They're looking pretty sharp. Ryan, how are we feeling about this Colorado team?
I mean, they're still trash. I mean, this was just besides Travis Hunter.
8th in Heisman odds right now.
Travis Hunter is a different breed. I still think he should choose defense 100%. Going into the draft, I think he'll be one of the best corners in the league for sure. Not the same for wide receiver. Personally, I think there's too many good wide receivers. But this Colorado team was just I mean, the fact that the first play, Baylor, they play defense and someone's behind him with 30 seconds left in the game. Like that play, the guy hit him in the face mask and drops. Yeah. So the wide receiver's behind him. There's a wide receiver behind you with 30 seconds left. Yeah. Having to go 50 yards. So you're like, all right, we got lucky, we bailed out. The next play, wide receiver's wide open in the end zone.
I mean, Shador just put in the spot.
No, and he was throwing. It was like the most unbelievable. I've never seen a Hail Mary uncontested. This team sucks.
I've never seen a throw like that.
That was a beautiful. It was a beautiful rolling
throw.
To the left.
Rolling to the left in the rain.
Across the body.
We know what Shador is. Like I know what Shador is. Yeah. He's good. Like he could put up. He has talent.
Yeah.
But like he's nothing crazy. I wouldn't say overrated. He is talented.
I do want to say that this was a big win because this was their first conference game.
Yep.
And the rest of the conference, Utah is kind of looking standalone right now. They're obviously they're ranked 10. They're doing their thing. You can debate how convincing their wins have been, whatever. Yeah. But Kansas State, I know that we're talking Colorado right now before I hand it off to you guys, but Kansas State got fucking shit on by BYU.
Yeah.
BYU
absolutely stomped on. Yeah. And they were the team that everyone was saying they're going to be in the Big 12 championship. Yeah. And then you have a lot of other teams that are looking kind of shaky. I mean, like Baylor's already out. Like they already lost one.
Arizona's not really
Arizona's kind of whatever. We'll see this week. They have a big game coming up. Oklahoma State's already lost a conference game, so Colorado's in that group of 1-0 Big 12 teams.
They're gonna get fucking murdered this next.
But dude, the rest of the conference doesn't look good.
They're gonna be 17-point dogs against UCF and lose by.
I think they're 14.5 point dogs right now for the next week. I mean, we'll definitely talk that game, but
for UCF, I agree.
Oh, we'll see. Mike, I know you're a big Shador guy. Every week you come on here just spewing nonsense and hate about him, and he comes and proves it wrong yet again. How'd you feel last week knowing that you were wrong about Shador this week?
Yeah. I mean, I thought Shador did his job. He threw up a self-admitted prayer, and
more like a self-admitted dot.
Yeah.
You're talking about the last play of the game.
No, last play of the game.
That wasn't a Hail Mary. That was more of like a pass.
No, it was literally a Hail Mary. And in an interview after the game, he said, I threw it up to God, quote unquote.
Yeah, it's a Hail Mary.
And, I mean, he had no idea where that ball was going. He didn't know if there was a receiver over there. He didn't know if it would get picked
obviously he knew there was
He got extremely
lucky.
lucky.
What about for the other 300 passing yards?
He did all right. Again, we shouldn't forget that it's Baylor, number one.
Okay.
Number two, we also shouldn't forget that Baylor should have put that game away and made it a 10-point lead, but they missed a field goal with 2 minutes left to go in the game.
You didn't just say we shouldn't worry about it because it's Baylor, though. Now you're talking about Baylor, what they did to mess it up.
Well,
should we worry about it because it's Baylor? Or should we just put it to the side?
Put it to your side, but also realize
let's talk about
Baylor.
Let's talk about Baylor.
Well, Baylor, who is so bad.
Let's talk about Baylor, though.
Back up 6 inches.
Baylor, who is so bad and who is irrelevant 99% of the time we're having a conversation.
Okay.
They were the ones who almost put away this team with a field goal. They got lucky. It was like a 43-yarder or something like that they missed.
Not a chip shot in college, but yeah.
Not a chip shot, but they probably should have made it.
Okay.
And, again, I just don't think that this wouldn't have been a game.
I mean, it shouldn't have been a game at the end of the game. It's just Shador. He has, when some players have that magic, Mike?
Yeah.
It's not Shador. Travis Hunter, man, unbelievable play at the end of the game in overtime.
How'd they get to overtime?
by the grace of God.
Look at Tyler's wrist.
And
grace of God.
Shador might be
The
gone.
grace of God.
Mario, I know you're on Colorado. You correctly predicted every game so
Every
far
game.
for Colorado.
Yeah.
We're not going to make you give a pick next week for UCF, although you might have hinted to it saying Colorado plus the points.
I mean, it's
free,
UCF easy.
But, you're all over Shador.
Yeah.
You love him.
I love Shador. I love Travis Hunter. I love this Colorado team.
Yeah.
Listen, the way Dion has these boys playing is
Elite.
they're locked in.
It's elite.
It's elite. I think this was one of those wins where I think you saw like after like the effect it had on this team. I think they think and believe like they're better than what they actually are. And I think they could actually hang in to some games going forward against some opponents that probably like if they had played in the past weeks, they'd probably get blown out. But because of this win, it gives them confidence.
Stepping stone game.
Yeah, it's a big stepping stone.
Big step.
Not a small stepping stone. Really big one.
Yep.
Took a big step forward. This is a game where last year they would have like maybe held in there, maybe made it a game, and then like lose by 10. This year they're pulling out these wins. Different Colorado team this year.
Oh,
Shador
God.
just making those plays. Travis making those plays. Dion calling the plays. I mean, it's just
Wheeling and dealing.
wheeling and dealing.
Yeah, well, I mean, Shador,
Let's go Buffs.
led the Buffs 3-1 so
off the
far. They're in the mix in the Big Ten, tied for first place. So
12.
Big 12.
Big
Big
12.
12.
And at Big Ten, they'd be
Definitely
first.
not.
They'd be higher up in the Big Ten.
They'd be dead.
They'd be higher up in the Big Ten. We can talk Big Ten later.
We saw what Nebraska did to them.
We did see what Nebraska did.
Yeah, they murdered them.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's a different levels to this shit.
You're a Big Ten guy now.
He's a common sense guy.
Yeah, I'm a common sense.
I
guy.
forgot, Mike.
You know what's funny is one of my notes is that it may have been a good fight between two pigeons, but bring in like a lion or a tiger and
The pigeon
they're
flies
getting,
away?
they're getting fucking
Well, the pigeon can
destroyed.
fly. So
Yeah, I take the
lion-
pigeon 10 times out of 10 in that fight.
Yeah,
A
against
flood comes in. Who's surviving?
Yeah.
Pigeons flying above it.
I mean,
They can't handle the wave.
Nah.
like, what can a
God.
lion really do, Mike?
I mean, in a closed dome environment.
So it's a system player. It's not like a
Yeah, it's not every day of the
Okay.
week like clock in, clock out type of
Yeah,
play.
yeah. He's got to have the nice surrounding pieces
It's
around.
Jared
it.
Goff of an
Yeah.
animal is what you're saying.
Yeah.
No.
He's not quite the Trevor Lawrence, the king of the jungle.
Oh, God.
It's not a
Alright,
Jane
alright,
Daniels.
alright.
He's on
It's
the
more
fly. He could just wheel and deal.
No, that's a
fly
good
through the
point. That's a
trees,
real good point. But yeah, Shador show. We seem to talk about him every week, so I'm sure we'll talk about him next week as well
Get away.
after they
Oh,
upset
God.
UCF. Shout
No
out
chance.
Shador.
God, they're gonna get blown up.